In the far, or maybe just not so near future, where everything is ran by corporations and death can meet you in a back alley with a neon coat at any time, people still crave thrill, just as much as pure, unfiltered competition. A battle of will and skill with no limits. Or to be specific, no speed limits. No matter what happens in this world we live in, or in the world that waits for us, this will remain true. And in the world we're talking about today, you'll need a car and some friends to get it. This is Screamer, a cyberpunk arcade combat racer that I have been paying attention to long before its launch a little bit ago, and have been proven right to be excited for. I could yap your ears off about the game itself, but that's not the goal here. You saw the title, man. I mean, come on, it's right there. Keep up. It's all about the teams, their cars, and what they say about their drivers. Or, as this game calls them, Screamers. First up, the Green Reapers. Our sorta kinda protagonists. This is a team of ex-Guns for Hire who have chosen to participate in the titular Screamer tournament as hosted and funded by the mysterious Mr. A for the express purpose of revenge against Gabrielle Mertens, the not-so-apparent heir of Anaconda Corp, who is also participating in this tournament with his own team of sorts. For what reason, you ask? Because Quinn, the founder and leader of their PMC outfit, is currently a pile of dust because of him. Now, let's go to Unscripted Akai for some analysis of each car. Yours truly will cut in when needed. This is Unscripted Akai. This is our first car of the video. Look at that. Look at this fucking thing. Look at it. There's a whole lot of whatever the fuck. This is Hiroshi Jackson's Shadow Alpha. Now, this is both the hero car and probably one of the most unique cars I've like you'll see in the game. Cause there's let's just get into it, right? So first things first, inspirations that I can obviously see. So notably, there's like the Koenigsegg Jesko in the front. Now, where is that exactly? Where would that be? Well, that is entirely in the front end, specifically these vertical headlights here. In fact, you see it a little bit better. It's a bit more easy to understand when you see its like fully kitted out look, like so. Yeah, because you start seeing more of the actual body lines of it, as well as, of course, you know, more of this, more of that. Also, watermelon car. Anyways, along with that is the roof line it has, because it has this very high, like, strong visibility roof line. Same thing for like a very thin A-pillar, or whatever it's called. Yeah, A-pillar, I think. Except this car doesn't have it, but in real life the Jesko does. So that's something that these cars share immediately. However, there's more than just Koenigsegg in here, and it's hard to see because, I mean, look at the thing. Look at it. There is a little bit of Zonda, and the way I see that is also in the front. It's how it's exaggerated, but it's in how the front slopes down. That it was one of the first things that I noticed about the car way back before this game even released. Very, very, very interesting shape. Though the weird thing is, this car is very stubby in the front. There's not much front. There's a whole lot of back. This car is extremely, when it comes to the cockpit and the main features, it is front heavy and very not so rear heavy, despite the engine being rearward, though not completely so. It's a mid-rear engine car. Along with that, however, is the fact that it also personally reminds me a little bit of like an LMP race car. like some LMP race cars. And the reason is because of this little middle fin. And you'll notice that it's asymmetrical. It's not really in the middle, but it does the same thing. It has the same idea. In fact, we'll get to how asymmetrical this car is in a second. But you see this design, but way larger on a lot of those. Like, usually it goes down to around here where my mouse is. Using it to illustrate. Ooh. But one other thing, and this is going to be sort of about all the cars, is that a lot of the cars do have asymmetrical features, like many of them do. Not all of them, but a solid few. The Green Reapers have the most. Like, the most. They are... this is emblematic of all the Shadow Alpha cars in one way or another. But it's also emblematic of Hiroshi himself, and I'll get to why. But next up is also the fact that this car has aero discs, or also known as, turbofans. These in particular probably would have been known as turbofans. These are a type of wheel, though nowadays there's sometimes wheel attachments thanks to, I think, Rotiform, as well as another wheel manufacturer that makes it small. I can't remember who makes it. It might have been, could be Rays. It might be Koenig. I don't know. I can't remember who made them. But there's another group that makes style like this. Though way smaller, you can see more of the wheel. Either way, it was a type of wheel or wheel modification that was popular in racing for a while in the 70s. It was on production cars somewhat in the 80s. And they kind of sort of had a comeback and are having, I think, another comeback a little bit in the modern day. But in the cyberpunk aesthetics, right? They are popular. Like, they're on everything. However, the thing with this game is that not all the cars have them. It's not as common. Like, not as common. Which I think is a good thing. Because if you look on, like, ArtStation, you'll see cars with, like, turbofans or aero discs, whichever you want to call them. Because it's kind of synonymous with each other now. But that's neither here nor there. Like, you'll see them with, like, aero discs on, like, all four corners, or like every single car that's like marked as like, oh, cyberpunk aesthetic NSX, or cyberpunk aesthetic like GT40, or cyberpunk aesthetic like Murcielago. You'll see aero disc, turbofan on the front, on the rears, all four corners, doesn't matter. Here, they have decided to be a little, what's the term? They've decided to show a little bit of restraint. They've decided to show some restraint in that regard, which is very, very nice. I wanted to get some of that out of the way with Hiroshi's car, because that is something that's very interesting. Now, what does this mean about Hiroshi Jackson? What does this choice in car mean for Hiroshi Jackson? Well, here's the thing. This car is scatterbrained. This car is almost, it's like everything is off kilter. You'll see these lights here are completely asymmetrical. There's light bar, but there's like a four pod light and then light bar in the end. This is supposed to be like an aerodynamics piece as well. This one has no end plate. This one does, right? There's same thing for the wing. For the wing, there's ducting and design work that's not on one side, that's on the other. It is not by any means symmetrical. None of this car is symmetrical. And like look at the mirrors, man. These are supposed to be fucking mirrors. And they're like completely different each side. There's like these two like dual pod deals. And then there's the mirror on the right side. Same thing for these ducting. This ducting here, like this raises up high. This is just a divot into the roofline. It's insane. insane how different this car is no matter where you look. And that's something that's very interesting with this car. Because the thing is, again, Cyberpunk cars do... Like, for instance, Cyberpunk 2077 has a good few cars that are, like, modified that have, like, some asymmetricality. But not to this extent, right? Like not to this extent. And this car is emblematic of, like, the extremes of that, which is super cool. Oh, it's super cool. And it's just the exposed rear tube frame, right? Because it has that sort of like split body design a little bit, as you see in some race cars. Where like on it, like I imagine if it crashed, if it got T-boned, it would split in half, right? You know, there's a whole lot of that. So what does this mean about him himself? Well, Hiroshi is, the best way to describe him is that he is very much so lacking in direction, and he's dealing with grief. He's dealing with some pain. He's looking for any sort of direction in his life at all, no matter who the hell that is from. He's looking to fulfill his goal, and that is taking out the person that very much so aided in the death of Quinn, the leader of the Banshees, which was the PMC group that Hiroshi and the Green Reapers as a whole were a part of before it got, you know, kind of fucked over. So there's a whole lot of emotional instability in him, which honestly makes him prime material for a story like this, for a protagonist, right? He's got all sorts of shit that he needs to figure out before the end, and you know that was a good choice. It was a good choice having him. However, there's a bit of a theme with these characters, is that they're all kind of assholes. They're all, I would not by any means hang out with Hiroshi Jackson. I would not. You couldn't pay me to. maybe like sometime in the future, but definitely not during the Screamer tournament. Definitely not. Like oh man, he is a piece of shit. And so is like a good fair bit of the other drivers. You'll see probably whom I think are asshole worthy and who are not. Just want to say it. TE37s still rocked in the future, albeit this weird like bolt pattern hybrid center lock deal, which is very interesting. A lot of these cars actually have these wheels. There's only one car I think that has them on all four corners, but you'll see it when you see it. But yeah, on to the next. This is Frederick's Hammer Bravo, and as you can tell, it's a Viper. Though here's the thing, it's a Viper with like a very, very, very small amount, like localized entirely to here, a very small amount of RX-7 in it, FD RX-7. Now, if you haven't noticed, there's these lines here, right? These very articulated lines in the front bumper. Not like you can see the rest of it. And while I know for a fact it's not headlights, because look at that, there's no bucket for it, and the headlights are these, which very diminutive. Like it evokes pop-up headlights. It evokes that to me, which is very interesting to me, because fun fact, there's a few like body kit manufacturers back in the 90s who made body kits that were meant to resemble the Viper, like the first gen Viper, or the RX-7. So if that was intentional, interesting pull, interesting choice. So as you can see, this car is also very slapdash. There's parts that are missing. There's parts that are asymmetrical. There's more stickers, more of these like smaller stickers on one side. This other side is a bit more cohesive. There's like a little Dorifto sticker on the right. A couple of bits and bobs here and there. And then there's the big main sponsor part of the livery right here, as well as the whole design that is not translated to the other side. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's so much asymmetricality. I'm surprised that the wheels ain't fucking different. There is this braces and struts for the front end, Probably to get back some of the rigidity it might have lost from just removing so many body panels, because it's a little bit less cushion that way if you get hit, get T-boned around like the front quarter, right? So they thought about something, right? There's this really cool metal molded and bolted sort of ducktail, sort of drag-esque spoiler, which I personally think is my favorite part of the car. Like, this is my favorite part of the car in its entirety, and it leads into the wide body kit. It leads into the wide body, which is honestly super cool. Super cool. Oop. Clicked off, my bad. There's some more of that asymmetricality, because look, there is this little arrow bit here with an end plate, and then there's none on the other side. There is there's so much of that on these cars, on the Green Reaper cars. So what does this mean about Frederick? Now, Frederick is someone I would best describe as a adrenaline junkie by trade. It's somewhat implied that he joined the Banshees just for a rush and the money. Like, for those two things compounded. However way he joined doesn't matter. I think that's the reason why he joined. However, well, actually, no, to further boost that point, there are multiple missions in the story that you will see if you plan on playing where Frederick is wagering some big shit on races. That's all I'll say about that. So like he's a gambler, he's a junkie for adrenaline. He is very much so a no guts, no glory kind of guy. However, in his personal life, he's a fucking pushover, man. He is a goddamn pushover. There is so many fucking points in this story where I am actively and physically telling him to grow a fucking spine when it comes to these fucking two, man. Which you'll see the other one. You'll see the other one. Oh man. Oh, another interesting note that I almost forgot to mention. This car has a V8, whereas the Viper in real life has a V10. Now, it is a supercharged V8, but it's still a V8 and not a V10. So they didn't completely conform to the norms of the car that they're basing it on, that they're inspired by, because some of these cars get very confusing in their inspiration to the point where it's almost like it might as well be a completely original car with like very little inspirations. So yeah, that's Frederick. On to Roshin. This is Roshin Garrity's Tiger Delta. Man, what a car. What a person. What a person. What a person. So, as you can tell, and as you can see, this is an F40. However, I would like to say that I personally see more than just the F40, and that is a little bit of F50. Now, specifically, I see the F50 in the roof. It's very much so in this game. The hood. You see, these gaps sort of remind me of certain divots in the hood and channels in the hood that the F50 has. Not to an exact, but they're evocative of that to me. I can't be alone in this. I hope I'm not. I will say also, while I'm in the front, again, asymmetricality, but this light pod right here and its placement, it specifically reminds me of the Porsche 935, like the race-going Porsche 935s, which all had headlights that are low like this, like super low to the ground. It's a weird pull, I know, but it's what comes to mind when I see this bulb. And just this. It's just this that gives me the inspiration. Where, like, if it was both, like, bulbs on both sides, then it'd be very much so. But just a little bit, just enough. Of course, has a body style that is most evocative of an F40. Like, most of this car is F40 with, like, little sprinklings of F50 sort of mixed in there. At least under my eye. Please do a video like mine if you see something else, or if you have more in-depth knowledge than I do. I'm a guy that knows his cars. I don't know everything. I have blind spots. Please go for it. But the rear lights very much so have this sort of segmented twin pod look, because they're not connected. There's the entire rear of the car exposed, like so. Because all of these cars do, in fact, look like they are, well, these cars specifically, the Green Reaper's cars, they look like they were built in a fucking garage. Like they were built in a scrap heap. A lot of them do, which I think is cool and fits fits them. They're more utilitarian, probably, nature, because they really just want to use these cars as weapons, man. They want to win. They want to get at Gabriel's fucking neck, and the way to do that is to be faster, and maybe to have a bit of a lead foot when it comes to being behind other racers. So, what do I mean by these rear lights specifically? What do I see about them? There is a combination of F40 and F50, but it's not apparent, because the lights themselves are extremely simplified. The F40's lights and the F50's lights are round. However, when it comes to their, like, how they jut out, the F40 is kind of flat, and the F50 actually juts out more, like way more than the F40s. So that's where I see the combination, because it is flat and it juts further. That's kind of where I see it. It's kind of a reach, but it's what comes to mind to me. Also, another note, which will come back later, is these drift ties, these drift stitches right here, which is a very cool detail that I don't think any other car has, and it's kind of interesting. It's not even interesting. It just makes sense that this car would have them, because the person who owns this car, Roshan Garrity, is a bitch. Also, there's a NACA duct on the roof instead of a roof scoop that leads down into into somewhere on the engine, somewhere about the engine. You don't usually use NACA ducts on the roof. I don't see them very often, though I could be wrong or misremembering, but I don't remember anyone using really NACA ducts like this on the roof of a car. Anyways, Roshan Garrity, she's a bitch, man. She is blunt, honest. She is very confrontational as an individual. She's just a lie. Good to have her on your side, though. I mean, she is a firecracker, to say the least. She's a firebrand, if I have ever seen one, which makes this choice in car bizarre to me, because both of the other cars in the Green Reapers very much so fit their driver in a lot of ways, whereas this is, like, albeit very messed up, like it's very, like, scrappy in its default design, but it's still some Italian excellence, you know? Like, you'd expect one of the characters you'll see later on to have this, who is Italian. But then again, I mean, there's a character later on who I think has a combo between an Italian car and an American, an American car. You'll see who that is soon enough. Actually, they're the team coming up. Well, one person in the team coming up, you'll see. But that's Roshan Garrity. Scripted Takai, back to you. Team Anaconda Corps is, as you would guess, a team representing Anaconda Corps, tentatively led by Gabrielle Mertens, son of its ruthless and callous CEO, Abigail Mertens. He is tailed by Hope Kaminsky and Dirk Van Wyck, who have been elected by Mother Dearest to assist him in winning this tournament. If he wins, just maybe he will finally stop being a fucking disappointment. Thankfully, his car isn't. The rest ain't either. This is Gabrielle Mertens' Falcon Rallen Type 500B. And as you can tell, by God, is she long. My God, look at how much of the rear hangs off the end here. There's so much car. It's absurd how much car there is to handle. Like, oh my God. As you can tell, this car is very much so like a old classic 60s European coupe. The long-nosed European coupe. Like, just excessive front, not that much rear, though you wouldn't expect it or get it with this car, because look at how much rear there still is. Past that, like, this thing is swinging like a schlong. And look at the lines, man. Look at the lines on that. Look at that. Ooh. There's no doubt about it. There is, like, to name off the inspirations that I can personally see, that I have noted down. I see Aston Martin DB4. I like the GT Zagato specifically. Ferrari 275, GTB4, as well as the original Jaguar E-Type a little bit, just a little bit, like just a small bit somewhere. It just comes up in the mind. Like, just in general, like, it's like all of them and then exaggerated to their greatest, to their largest self, almost. It's insane. Anaconda Corp follows sort of this design philosophy to its, like, maximum, specifically, for the most part. You'll get to why I say the most part. Like, all of these cars are very much so in the vein of modern resto mods, mixed in with a little bit of science fiction, a little bit of hypercar, just a little bit of all of that. Oh, Gabrielle's car is the only car to have this sort of hexagonal, sort of geometrical design, which is very cool. Denotes him as leader, I think. But you can see very classic style wheels. One thing that you'll see, and I think I'll put up some footage of it being in use later, is that this car has active aerodynamics. And you'll see that this lip spoiler comes up at speed, and under braking, these are air brakes. The thing is about them is that when they come up, they don't remind me of anything European. They actually remind me of like a lot of American cars, like those fin spoilers, those like fins on the rear quarters, right? That you see on old like 50s, 60s American cars sometimes, around like the days of like the space race and all that, because they pop up like so on the quarters, and they just remind me a lot of stuff like the old Bel Airs, for example, which some of them had those fins. It gives a very unique look to this car that none of those prior inspirations really had. I know it's a bit scatterbrained, but either I'll fix it or I won't. You'll see. Now, what does this mean for Gabriel? What does this tell you about Gabriel? Well, it tells you nothing about him himself other than the fact that he is a rich nepo baby type guy. But it tells you more about what he wants to be. You see, Gabriel Mertens is putting on a front. Every single time he interacts with the Reapers, he is putting on a front, because he is not a confident person. Not in the slightest. Not in the slightest bit. And you learn that very early on. Trust me, you do. It's not a spoiler. He is hounded on by his mom, Abigail. He is disrespected by his entire team. He wants to earn respect his own way, but he does not know how. And he just does not have the confidence or the direction to commit. This car looks committed. It looks confident. Suave a little bit. It looks strong. It's just a strong looking car. It looks like it could fucking split the Red Sea. Like, come on, look at this thing. Absolute fucking chariot. Oh man. The Anaconda Corp cars are awesome. Or core, I should say. I think Abigail would behead me if I didn't say it the way she and her lackeys do. But yep, that's Gabrielle's car. Next. This is Hope Kaminsky's Sauvage Desir CN107. Now, I'm pretty sure you're like immediately seeing a resemblance in the rear, a little bit in the side, somewhat in the front. And this is like a big old combo meal of 60s, 50s, 70s, a little bit of modern, a little bit of 80s and 90s. Just all sorts of Porsches in a bag, jumbled together, molded into a smooth ball, and then put on your plate. There is so much Porsches, like Porsche inspiration in here, it hurts. And it's all melded within a body style that is actually very much so not Porsche. Because Porsches tend to have a bit more round, like bit more oblique, I guess you could say, roundness in their style. They're a bit more simple shapes. These are very like look at these body lines, man. Look at that. It's elegant. It's not exactly Porsche style. Porsche is about engineering perfection. Porsche is about the ultimate driving machine. They don't completely care that much about style. They don't, because so many people either love or hate the sort of like the large pod style of Porsche headlight, for example. And a lot of people will judge a car on how the front looks. I know I do sometimes. As well as the rear end. And the front end, I think for some people, might be an acquired taste. I'm just saying. It's not like crazy, but some people have more inclinations towards the Ferraris or the Paganis or the Lamborghinis. You know, some people just have more inclination towards those body types as opposed to theirs. But this is not completely that body type, because this is also somewhat inspired by those European coupes, and you can kind of see it in not just the body style, but also the engine type. I believe I'll put in some footage of me driving this thing, but you'll hear it has a V8. It's not using a flat 6 or a flat 4 like an actual Porsche, and it doesn't. And honestly, look at this thing. This can't be rear engine. This can't be a rear engine car. Look at how look at that. Like with that engine and this body shape, that's in the front. It helps that there's an honest to God like hood scoop going on here as well. So it tells you for sure that this car means fucking business in the front. So what does this exactly say about Hope? What does this tell you about the character Hope? Okay, here's the thing about Hope. She is very much so a quiet sort of schemer. She's very tempered, like tempered as in she is refined, like a good like a how to say it. She's very refined in how she articulates herself and how she presents herself to look as understated as possible. She is not a pushover. But she will think of the larger future picture way more often than her compatriots. And, you know, honestly, if she were the leader, right, I don't know if anyone else would win. She is definitely the one with the most forethought in the group. And it kind of shows, because it's a car that does not exactly hold one defined shape. It has a whole lot of Porsches, but multiple Porsches. There's a little bit of the European long nose coupe, you know, European long nose two doors in there. And these wheels are seen in some Porsches, but they're also seen on Lamborghinis as well. Like a couple, like the Lamborghini Countach, I believe, had wheels like this, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I can't remember all the stock wheels used by every manufacturer. And there's also this very nice through line of gold on the car. It's just, oh man. These cars are some of my favorites. Oh my god. But my favorite of these Anaconda Corp cars, oh no, I'm gonna get beheaded by Abigail. Ooh, they're coming up very soon. But long story short, this car feels almost like a chameleon. It can blend into a bunch of Porsches. It can blend into a bunch of classic European cars in general, like classic European sports cars. But it also feels very modern. It feels classic and modern all in the same car. It feels timeless, like it fits anywhere. It's an insane car. Anyways, on to the next. This is Dirk Van Wyck's Aardwolf 64. Now look at this fucking thing. And think back to what you saw before, and you're gonna be confused. It has the same color scheme, similar light style, similar resto mod sort of look, but look at the aero on this thing. Look at this. This is my favorite part of the car right here. Look at this. Look at this, dude. I don't even know what to call this. I don't think I've seen this on a car before. It's insane. There's this split down the middle. It's, oh my god. Oh my lord. It just rounds out to just aggression. It looks aggressive. It's also the one car that is complete, that has any form of asymmetricality in the Anaconda Corp sort of team. These rear wheels are completely different from these fronts, which are more BBS-esque. So, what does that mean? What does that mean? We'll get to it. But I gotta get to the rest of the car. Also, this insane time attack spoiler. It's not chassis mounted, by the way. No, it is splitter mounted. It is mounted to the splitter. I do not think I've seen this on any car at all. Like, period. It's insane looking. But in terms of what this car looks like at its core, to me, it looks, in my opinion, like a cross between a Shelby Daytona and a Ferrari 250 GTO. Now, you see the Ferrari, especially in the front here, because they do share a body style not too dissimilar to each other, the Daytona and the GTO. But the GTO has lights that are more similar to this. Like they have very similar oval style lights, and they are also lower, like so. I think it also does have a little bit of this sort of nose situation, which I've just now looked at and just now noticed that kind of has, it's kind of a diminutive nose in some regards. God, such a unique shape. These cars are all so unique. However, in the rear, if this were a more complete looking rear end, like if it had more bumper and more rear fender, right? I believe the shape of this would round out to look more like a Daytona. The rear as a whole reminds me more of a Daytona. Now, the thing with these both is that they're heavily exaggerated proportions. Like, look at how long this thing is in the front. All of these cars have been super long in the front. However, the lines of this car, a lot of them, like they're smooth, and then there's this hard cut in the roof line that goes up straight forward and then curves back down. And further, it's even more interesting when you look at the line from through the door line as well, because it goes like smooth. You know, like it's more smooth there, but if you follow the roof line, big strong jump. Also, you'll notice something here, but I'll talk about that in a second. So Dirk Van Wyck. Oh, one last thing. This car seems to have a V12. The thing is, it sounds more like a V8 or like a V, like it has muscle qualities to the tone, and that further like tells me something, and I'll get to it. Dirk Van Wyck is your average South African and more. He is violent. He is cruel. He has a little bit of something to prove, and he's headstrong. He is just bloodthirsty as a person. And when you look at this car, you see these like sharp, strong aerodynamic stylings, and just these things that could cut, that could split a man in half, along with the smooth lines of most of these Anaconda Corp cars, which are all either A, resto mods, B, replicas of cars remade to be built to modern screamer standards for this world, mind you, or I don't know, maybe something else. But you can see that he took so many liberties with the lines of this car. This is the only car in the team to have these like bolted on fenders here. These bolted on like aftermarket looking fenders. Furthermore, this is also the only car to not have a license plate in the team. All of those license plates with ANCR, like Gabriel had ANCR 1, Hope had ANCR 2, Dirk Van Wyck has nothing. And I'd like you to think about what that means for him as a person. Anyways, this is a car that, one of those other cars that fits him to a T. Like, that fits the character that drives it completely. No regard. Like, just no questions about it. No buts. Anyways, on to the next team. Back to Scripted Akai. Strike Force Romanda are an idol group by trade, and they are in this truly unique competition to market their new album, or so they say at least. Think about it, really. Would some pop stars really risk it all on some guerrilla marketing stunt? Or is there something they aren't telling the fans? But before that, who are these three? Ritsuko Imai, the second front woman of SFR, and thus the leader of the team. Akane Hyuga, the cool and collected second. Hina Yamano, the team's hot-blooded third. Let's look at their cars, shall we? This is Ritsuko's Miseru GTR. Now, this is a fucking NSX. There's no way to confuse it for anything else. There is no way to even consider it as anything else. It is an NSX. And all of Strike Force Romanda's cars are like this. They are, in this regard, they are the most uninteresting cars. This is not a bad thing, because they're interesting in another way, and I'll talk about that. As you can tell, this is Ritsuko's car. She is the leader of Strike Force Romanda, the idol group that has been involved in this very illegal and very much so deadly, at least until the Echo gets involved, racing tournament. There is more to this NSX than meets the eye, though it is somewhat obvious. And that is the fact that it's a sort of semi-combo between two NSXs, and it has a particular style about it in the front that you may be able to catch on to by looking at the front here, but we'll get to that for those that do not. Now, most of this is NA1, though very much so like a JGTC modified sort of NA1 NSX. But speaking of JGTC, you see it has that roof scoop, you see it has that spine. If you know your Hondas, then you would see that this is also somewhat inspired by the NSX RGT, which is the homologation model line of the NSX NA2 generation car for the GT500 class of JGTC. And while the scoop itself is different, it's not as thin or tall. It does have that spine motif that goes all the way back to the engine, and so on and so forth. It's very much so evocative. You know what it's about. You know what it's doing. You know what it's for. Now, lastly, is this right here. Now, this style of modification only appears in the front of all of these cars in one way or another. And this is very much so a Bosozoku style looking front end. Now, what specifically? So you'll see the most obvious here to me, the thing that sort of told me, oh yeah, there it is this front splitter here. It is definitely more race inspired than its inspiration, because it's all carbon, right? It looks like it can be used, but this big bench of a splitter is very much so indicative of that Bosozoku style of car, which are very much so known for these like molded fiberglass bodies that are very unique in shape, and a lot of them have lip splitters like this, though way more exaggerated and less actually useful looking. You can see this one is even wider than the car. It goes to like the midpoint of the wheel. It like thins out, and then man. Now usually these are for style, and usually these are made out of, as I said before, like fiberglass or maybe aluminum. Some people would probably do like painted aluminum afterwards. They had like not enough money for like fiberglass or getting, because a lot of Bosozoku cars are custom made. They're more so pieces of art than they are to be driven. But that's getting ahead of myself. What about this part? This part is also very much so in the Bosozoku / sometimes kind of known as Kaido Racer style modifications, like style cars. And I don't know of a proper name to this, but I call it the overbite. Because you see, on the top, there's this leading edge right here that goes past the front end of the car. And that is very much so common in, again, Bosozoku cars. Again, though, usually much more exaggerated, like very exaggerated. You'll see some of these with like so-and-so feet out, just like a lot of, just long, exaggerated. This is a weird mix between like Japanese like Grand Touring or like super like time attacky aero mixed with Bosozoku. Both of those styles are very showy. They're very exaggerated, very showy, and these cars are very showy. Now, why is that? Well, these cars don't represent by any means the drivers. They do not. They were chosen by Strike Force Romanda, by everyone, as in some ways to represent who the public sees them as, to be showy, to be flashy, to advertise their arrival, their place. In fact, as you can see, and as you've been noticing, they've got GoPros on these cars. They have GoPros on them because they live stream all of their races. Because, according to them, they're here to advertise their newest album. Because they are pop stars. They are idols. And, well, I mean, if the car looks like this, you believe them, right? So yeah, all of these cars, I'm just going to talk about what they're inspired by, talk about their little bits and pieces, and we'll get done with this this category, this team, very quick. Do not worry. This is Hina's Furitsuke Evo, and just like the name says, it is an Evo. I see specifically Evo 6. However, look at this rear end. Now, this is not, by any means, a Mitsubishi Evo rear end. This to me reminds me of the Mercedes 190e. These lights remind me of the 190e. Like the 190e Evo, like Evo 2 is a good example. In fact, now that I think about it, you kinda sorta see that in the wing as well. It kinda helps. Though the wing is a very different shape. The Evo 2 has a very much so straightforward. This has like almost okay, this is gonna be a bit of an interesting pull, but this wing design reminds me a little bit of which was it? But it reminds me a little bit of like a jet. like a jet with forward swept wings, just a little bit. Like I'm reminded of a specific jet. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm reminded of one of the original jets from Ace Combat a little bit with the shape. Now that I'm looking at it a little bit closer, I'll put that up on screen when I find it. Don't worry. But yeah, that's what this car is based off of. It's very much so time attack-y as well. You still see the front spoiler, the split, sort of going up far, though it's more rounded this time. Looks more functional, if that makes any sense. Has these braces here as well that go into the bumper. You do see, again, some of that asymmetricality that you see in some of the cars. I mean, look at these, right? But overall, it's very much so a time attack rally combo meal, along with those like a small bit of those Kaido racer elements in the front with the splitter here. We still retain the GoPros, and we also have plenty of signage. So cool. Very cool car. This is Akane's Fukuso Type Z, and as you can tell, it is a 90s GTR. However, to be specific, it is, to me, an R33 like LM Nismo, right? Like a GT, like an R33 Skyline GTR LM Nismo, specifically, with just a hint of R34 in how the lights are shaped. They have these cool like infinity mirror style lights, which is very cool. But you can see that the inner is smaller and the outer is larger. That is indicative of the R34. They take a little bit of liberty, like a whole lot of liberty. But the reason why I say the R33 is because partly of the shape, but look at these lights. They're like, if you cross-reference them with the R32, they do not look the same. Because here, the R32 headlights are narrower and they have more of a curve downward, right? They curve more down towards the end. The R33, however, they're a, like, the curve is less distinct, and they're a bit wider. They're a bit taller. There's a bit more meat on the R33 lights. If that makes any sense, you don't need to get it. You just need to know that they're different. Now, this car also has some of those Kaido and Time Attack inspirations. The Bosozoku. The lip spoiler is still rounded like Hina's, but it goes out way further. It's way more pronounced, which is more in line with the stylings. And it also has, it's the one thing that Hina's car did not have. It has the overbite. It has a brim. It's not so exaggerated. In fact, there is modifications for this car that make it more exaggerated. One second. Like this, right here. Yep. This, the brim of the hood line is more exaggerated. It's just way more exaggerated. You can see it easier. But it does have it. It does have it. And that is something that Hina's car has that, like, does not have. But Ritsuko and Akane do. As you can see, they still have the GoPros. All the signage and the just super exaggerated. Anyways, on to the next. Jupiter Stormer Industries. As their name suggests, their hunger to conquer the stars, aerospace, and the engineering and science landscape as a whole is absolute. This is why they were the first to truly spearhead a new scramble towards space and its exploration before the events of Mr. A's Screamer tournament. But why are they here, and why are they racing? Well, that's because of one Aisha Wagmare being invited by an old friend of hers, Gage Velik. He invited her to participate in the tournament for somewhat unknown reasonings, other than the obvious catching up after 3 years thereabouts. But that is enough for Aisha. However, she had to bring 2 more people to be able to compete. So she brought in her fellow scientists, the motor mouth Lavinia Ricci Antenori and the not-so-pleasant Gregor Falkenstein, to join in and figure out the whys after the fact. But that doesn't matter as much as ascertaining the qualities of their tools. This is Aisha Wagmare's Dendrobium Mark OO, and as you can tell, it is an ARC-7 with extra features. Now, it's pretty easy to see what this car is. It's dead easy. I mean, look at these headlights. Come on. It's the most obvious. Like, the housings are obviously evocative of the tops of the pop-ups. This car is very much so like sci-fi inspired. There's an ever so slight amount of asymmetricality in this design, but as far as I remember, none of these cars are look modified in any way. These cars are purpose-built, purpose-made, probably Jupiter Stormer Industries original cars. They're all evocative of the color scheme of JSI, but they also have a lot of like aerospace engineering flair, a little bit of mecha inspiration with all the just look at all these fucking signs, man. And while yes, when it comes to like real robot mecha, those like all of those details come from like airplanes and jets, like military hardware. It's done in the exaggerated way that mecha often does it. If you see illustrations, right? Various illustrations from like, say, I don't know. I'll put an example in the of an artist I'm thinking of, because I can't remember his name right now. You can tell this is unscripted analysis, correct? Either way, very much so science fiction-y, very much so mecha-y, very much so like aerospace. Also very much so space mission with these copper. A lot of like early space craft, like the space lander, I believe, for the first moon mission, did in fact have like some coppery parts. I can't remember for what reason, but you'll see a lot of that there. All of these cars, every single one of the GSI cars has thrusters. The Dendrobium has the largest, the biggest, the largest. But this car is very obvious. It's very interesting. It's very obvious to see. It's beautiful in how simple it is. It is an RX-7, an FD RX-7 with fucking thrusters. What is not to love? What is not to like? Look at it. Look at this fucking thing. It's one of my favorite cars in the game. God, it's beautiful. All right, next. This is Lavinia's Orcus version 91. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. This car stumps me. I do not know what car this is. I just don't know. I just don't know. This car stumped me. Look at this front end. I don't think I've seen a car with that looks like this. I don't know. I can't even tell if it's like American or if it's European. There's like at least like 20 cars that this car reminds me of, and none of those inspirations are cohesive. None of them. It is absurd how uniquely shaped and uniquely designed this car is. If this car if it is inspired by something I know, then they've hit it well. They have hit it completely from me. Now, this is Lavinia's car, as I think I said. This car also has the thrusters. This car has the same general makeup as the other JSI cars, but this, it's hard to describe, because the thing is, the JSI cars are, I can't figure out whether they are purpose built by JSI or if they're built by the drivers of the cars, because they're all scientists, as I said earlier, right? They're all engineers and scientists, and they build shit on their own, right? So I don't know if these are if these were made by them or for them. So I can't really completely say what they mean to them, but I can say what their choice is, because if they had a choice, what they kind of represent. What this car probably means to Lavinia is mostly saw in it, like you kind of see it more in how it drives and how it looks, because Lavinia is very energetic. She's very much so a motor mouth. She is very much so a person that sort of flits around with her emotions a lot. She's very much so go 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 go. And the car itself is one of those few cars that can really take grip driving well. It's very agile in those regards. It drifting it, yeah, it can get through most. Like grip driving, it can take some corners just fine. And its boost is very good. You just kind of have to get it first. Like, it's perfect boost. I mean, this car is the only one, I think, with a little bit of green. Watch me be incorrect and just misremember, but this is the only car in the JSI that has this green motif in the intercooler here, along the turbo, the little turbo fan deal here, and then on these locks here. You don't see it on the rear. In fact, the rear also looks a little bit different in color. It looks more like teal or like aquamarine. What color is that? Or is that just the shading? I can't quite tell. But oh yeah, it is. It is different color. It is different. That's the Orcus. Very unique car. Very different looking car. I can't tell what it exactly is. This is Gregor's Starman Spec Og. Have you been noticing a pattern with these cars' names, by the way? We'll probably test you on that later. But this is Gregor's car. And as you may be able to notice, this is a very straightforward combo meal style car. In the front, as you can see with the shape of this these headlights, it is very much so evocative of the Mitsubishi GTO, aka the 3000 GT, aka the Dodge Stealth in America. It is very look at that. Look at those headlights. Look at that shape. Like, no notes. It's obvious. It even has some of the. It even kind of is evocative of the front, like the bumper as well. It's also very wide. However, the rest of the body, as you can tell from the roofline here, it is a 180SX, and it's even more emblematic where the thrusters are, because there's these sort of larger like design on the 180SX brake lights, or like the bulbs actually are on the most part, and that is where these thrusters are. It is in between. It is half and half 180SX and Mitsubishi GTO or 3000 GT, whichever you want to call it. And honestly, it is also one. It's also one of my favorite cars in the game. It's got such a nice look to it. It sucks that the character who drives it is such a fucking bastard. Oh my god. Gregor is very much so a company first kind of guy. He's a stick in the mud. He's practically a robot given flesh. He is a piece of shit, but I love his car. This big fucking ducktail. Oh, it's more of like a swan, like a swan tail or like a dovetail or something like that. something around those lines. Like very exaggerated. Oh man, so cool. And the copper just being such a big motif on this car. Such a good move by the Milestone team. Ooh, also I noticed something a little different. This is slightly green. Yeah, this is at least on my screen. It's this part right here. Either it's because of shading or like reflection, because it does seem more reflective. This is a different material. And oh, I guess it's on one side it looks green. I'm discovering things as I go. But yeah, the blue is a much smaller element. It's only on the lugs of these TE37 knockoffs. Here. Oh, yep, there it is. There's the mecha indent. Yeah, there's the indent right there. Yeah, if you know your shit, then you've seen these everywhere. They're all on the wheels too. They're on everywhere. These little designs here. Oh man, it's so good. Also, fun little fact: one of the reasons why I can say without a shadow of a doubt that there's a mecha influence is this right here. Where is it? It was 1 second. Where is it? There it is. Every single one of these cars has an alt with the Gundam color scheme. That being the white, blue, red, and gold or yellow. In this case, the color scheme is more evocative of something like, say, because it's more evocative. Specifically, it's in the gold, but because of that gold, it is more evocative. Like, this is a very dull, worn gold, which I attribute, weirdly enough, more to the one of the AU suits in Gundam, that being the Barbatos Lupus Rex, or the Barbatos in general, like all of its variations. Because that car, why say car? Because that suit always struck me as more of a worn down relic, which it kind of is in the series, but that's neither here nor there. Man, this car has so many good customizations to it. But yep, that is it for JSI. Back to scripted. Kagawa Kai, a criminal organization notorious in its ruthless nature. The most Yakuza to ever Yakuza besides Yakuza and real-life Yakuza. This team, led in spirit by Noboru Sato, the once top screamer, and led somewhat in actuality by his brother, Keiji, and Keiji's understudy, the Sukeban-esque Akemi Nomura. For what reason? Who's to actually say? But we all know the reasons why they're here to not lose. Nobody likes to lose a finger, you know. This is Noboru Sato's Ryujin RR type. Now, as you can maybe tell, there's a lot of Supra in this design. There's also definitely a fucking engine. Look at this. It's got a big old window just for it. However, there's one other thing it reminds me of a little bit. Just a little bit. And that is the 350Z. Now, the body itself does not remind me of this. It's specifically just the front. As you can see here, it kind of has this like sort of sloping, I don't know, it's just the way this nose is shaped, right? It's like, how do I explain it? It's just the way this sort of hood slopes down, as well as the sort of pig nose design from nostrils. Like it specifically kind of reminds me of the Veilside 350Z kit a little bit as well in the front. But the rest is like heavily modified Supra. There is also a little bit, in my opinion, of the top secret Supra, specifically the V12 one in the rear in somewhat, like just a little bit. There's some of that Supra in here somewhere. It's not the gold. Before you say anything, it's not the fucking gold. It's something else, and I can't quite pinpoint what it is, but it also reminds me of the V12 Supra. even though it doesn't have one. It has a V6, I believe, looking at the engine. And also looking at a very similar engine that will appear in the next. But that's not here yet, because we gotta talk about what this car means to Noboru Sato. Noboru... Oh, one more thing. As you can kind of see here, we've got an Oni. Now we have the face of a woman. Oni, woman. Oni, Giri. Now, this is something that every single car in Kagawakai shares. Every single one. And it's super cool. It's super cool as just a motif that they all share on the roof. Super cool. Now, back to it. This car has a history. This vehicle is a replica of the car that Noboru Sato drove back when he was first a screamer. Noboru Sato was once a champion, well-known, well-respected, one of the best of all time kind of screamer, right? Way back. But he crashed, and he crashed a car not too dissimilar to this. And back then, I'm pretty sure this car would have fit him to a T. It is strong, confident. It is bombastic. It looks like it's ready to tear off your face a little bit. It looks just mean. But in the current day, and you learn this pretty early on in their side of the story, and they also, I think, tell you this in the some of the materials outside of the game. If you were paying attention to this game's pre-launch sort of stuff going on with there's like little team conversation in the on the Milestone website that you can read, and they actually give you some looks early on into like the score for each team a little bit. They tell you before they show you it in like cutscenes and all that in the game itself. So I don't consider it completely a spoiler to say that Noboru Sato has fucking PTSD. He has PTSD from that crash. Straight up. Not even a shadow of a doubt. This motherfucker has honest to God PTSD, and he cannot get into this car. He cannot. He has lost that spark that made him successful, and he has been roped in to the Screamer tournament by his brother Keiji Sato due to his dad to race again, and he can't. He just cannot. This car does not represent who he is now. This car represents who he was, and I think that's pretty cool. Next, this is Keiji Sato's Mizuchi Z RR race spec. I wonder what this car could be. I just wonder. Now, besides the obvious, let's look at the rear. Let's look at the rear. Now, this reminds me of specifically the twins, the GT86 and the Toyota GT86 and the Subaru BRZ, as well as the Scion FRS as well. For obvious reasons, because that was also a Toyota. That's neither here nor there. These lights remind me specifically of that. Yeah, I kind of said something stupid, so I cut that out. I didn't. Okay, I'm gonna say it straight. I was going to liken the rear lights also somewhat to the GR-GT, but then I remembered, oh yeah, no, they don't have that. I don't know what car I was thinking of when I was thinking of that, but main line is the GT86, the Toyota twins, very much so in these rear lights. Very much so in these rear lights. If this had like a bit of a bump up and then it curves back in, it would be very much so the outline of those lights, which is very weird to have on what is basically an R35, even down to the V6. Because yeah, it says it has a V6, and as you can see, this engine has very similar proportions and qualities to the engine on Noboru Sato's car, which is why I'm pretty sure it's a V6, which somewhat kind of sort of furthers the 350Z angle as well, as it being like sort of a combo between the two, because the 350Z is, I believe, the first Z car to have the VQ engine, which is an engine that this shares with the Z because both the VQ were both in the R35 and also the 370Z that was being made at that time. So you got a little bit of this, got a little bit of that. One other interesting note about this car in particular is these. Now, these side mirrors, right, they are attached to this wispy branch that goes down into this little arrow bit here that are it's bolted in. They're all bolted in. And that further goes right into the headlight housing. Now, what does this sort of wispy shape, these wispy lines remind you of? Well, I know what they remind me of. They remind me specifically of ancient Japanese drawings of koi fish, as well as, by extension, Sino-Asian depictions of dragons with their long whiskers. They both share those exaggerated whiskers, and in folklore, the dragons are often like dragons come from carp. Koi fish are usually said fish. They are carps. They are a species of carp. The carp goes up the waterfall, becomes a dragon. Right? Now, what does this mean? This has possibly two possible meanings when it comes to Keiji Sato. It is either one, a very blunt representation of his confidence, right? I am a dragon, or almost an admission of the fact that he is not as great as he should be. He is still a carp trying to find his waterfall to run up. Because Keiji Sato, say it with me, is a fucking bastard. He is nowhere near the greatness that his brother is. He is a bastard. He is a fucking bastard. God, what can I say about him that's not spoilery? Besides the fact that he is a bastard. Because you kind of learn that early on if you're paying attention to how he meets Noboru, which you will. It's just... But long story short, it tells you more of either what he wants to be or what he believes he is in his heart of hearts. That's the bottom line. All right. Next. Oh, geez. I wonder what this car is. Anyways, this is Akemi's Abisu 380 SR, which is, as you can tell, an S30Z, an old Datsun. Old Datsun. Hell, it's even in the name. 380 SR, S30, right? There's also the fact that the modern Zs usually go by like 350, 370, until very recently, where it's just the Z. It's just the Nissan Z. So it's a little nod to both the modern and older, the modern day Zs and the old Zs. And this car also has the coolest version of that little top design here. It's all cool looking like this. It's all cool. Look at that. Look at that. Now, as you can tell as well, this thing. Look, it's fucking V12. It's a V12 in there. It's a big old V12 settled right in. Ooh, she's long. She's sloping, just like an S30Z should be. Just like it should be. It's got a little bit of time attack inspiration here. Like all of these cars have a little bit of that DNA because it's exaggerated and it's cool, and this game very much so likes being stylish. So with that out of the way, because this car is dead easy to talk about, what does this mean about Akemi? This is Akemi's car after all. She's lacking in confidence. She is lacking in skill, but she has plenty of bluster she can muster. She is someone that's trying to find her own way and trying to find guidance, and she's trying to be strong, to look strong, to sound strong. I mean, look at the fucking V12 in there, right? You slapped a V12 in a car that only had like an inline 6 before, right? It's like she's looking for like recognition, strength. She's looking to find someone that is going to truly care for them and to guide them to be strong, to be better. Probably one of the reasons why she joined Kokawa Kai, to be honest with you. But I don't know. That's just me spitballing. And but this car has a very definitive look to it. That seems to further cement that. I mean, it's all in her like Sukeban-esque aesthetic, but with like the training sword, right? The wooden, like little wooden. It's not a bookend. That has a different shape to it. But you know what I mean. It's just a super cool car. It just sucks that it sucks to drive, but that's a whole nother conversation. Oh! Anyways, next. Whew. Oh, unscripted Akai. It is gonna take a break for a second. Whew. That is it for the main Screamers. Every car here is extremely well thought out and designed. They are designed with a particular level of care to them, and that's on top of customization. These cars of theirs represent something about their drivers, whether it be their job, their mindset, their status, or something else. This roster of characters and cars is truly comprehensive, which is crazy to me because there's one more team. One of them isn't a spoiler because you see him right at the beginning and even race against him. That's Gage's dog, Fermi. But the other two? They're complete spoilers. I'll let y'all have my look at Fermi for free, but after that, continue at your own risk. Don't worry, I'll remind you and slot in a timestamp for those who are more spoiler conscious when at the end of Fermi's segment, so enjoy the freebie. You know him. You love him. He's the dog. This is Fermi's, or is it Gage's, Pembroke 1 Turbo. Now, this car is kind of obvious what it is. That is that it is 1 part Golf, 2 parts Renault 5 Turbo. Now, when this car was first sort of revealed in the trailers, because you do see it, hence the reason why I don't consider it a spoiler, and you drive against it as well, like multiple times actually. Like it is. Back then I thought it was a Golf and an Audi Quattro because of the color scheme, but now that I've actually got the chance to look closer at it because I've beaten the game, yeah, no, it's a Renault 5. Hence the name actually, because it's Pembroke 1 Turbo, as opposed to the Renault 5 Turbo. And it's also very evocative of a Mark 1 Golf to me because of its very. It has a very how do you say it? Because of its more boxy nature. If I remember right, the Renault 5 Turbo has a little bit more roundedness to it in some regards. This car not so much. But you can see also some of that influence in here, the color scheme. You start seeing it a bit more because this is evocative of the Harlequin Golfs. Now, this is more common, I believe, on the Mark III and Mark IVs, but this is a special, like this is evocative of a special edition or a special version of the Golf line where you can get it with a different body panel on every, like different color on every single body panel, basically, is what it is. Now, that's not really completely the case for this, but you can tell that it was the intent to sort of showcase that look. Now, does this say anything about Fermi? No, but it fits him. It's small, it's short, it's got a lot of go. It's a bit of an unexpected car, just like how it's unexpected that Fermi can communicate at all to anyone, like period. It's kind of crazy that he can do that. He's just a dog, man. He's just a dog. Alright, now's the time to skip or back out. Check the code here to skip the spoilery bits. Or don't. I'm not your dad. Alright, spoiler time. If you're here, why are you? This is the announcer's highway star. Now, you can obviously tell what this is. This is a 60s Charger that has been resto-modded and heavily modified further after the fact. It is large, it is in charge, it is showy, big old ducktail. There's like silver, glossy black, and gold. It is one of the best looking cars in the game. These two NACA ducks that are also like lights is kind of cool. The announcer was also a racer before she was an announcer. In fact, it's sort of theorized in the game. If you missed it, then I'm gonna remind you, right, that she was also going by the announcer when she was racing. Like, she was the announcer, she is the announcer, she will always be the announcer. And with a car like this, I think I get why she called herself that. This car has fucking presence. It is present. Like, if I see this car drive up to like a parking lot anywhere, my eyes are glued. Look at these fucking arches. Look at the body on this thing. Now, why do I say specifically a 60s Charger? Because I think I've seen some people call this thing like a modern Challenger, and here's the thing about those cars is that they are very boxy, and they are like they're particularly boxy in the body lines, like the roof line, like the hood to roof to trunk. They are also like the roof lines are. Instead of like having these like beautiful curves, right? It's very much so. Like it's just so brutish and simple, which makes sense when you realize that they're all on Mercedes chassis. Like, one of the reasons why the modern Challengers and Chargers kind of handle better than their classic counterparts and their other all-American counterparts was because of the fact that they are built on German chassis, and they have German engineering sort of mixed in with the suspension and all that, which is why they're easier to drive than their old compadres, which kind of was spearheaded on a little bit by like the more handleable muscle car revolution or pony car revolution. Kind of started because of, if I remember right, the Camaro, like the ZR1s. Like the modern Camaros, like they, because those were known for being like surprisingly handleable for a muscle car, and then it kind of got better and better and better, and now they're comparable a lot of the time with their European counterparts in places like, for instance, Australia, which also does have their own muscle cars. Anyways, yeah, no, this car is beautiful. On to the next. This is the Black Habu Mach 7. It's not the Batmobile. It's not the Batmobile. It's not the Batmobile. Okay, it's the fucking Batmobile. This thing is insane. It is absurd. Let's just go down the list of inspirations, and we'll talk about what it means for Mr. A later. So, first off, as I said, this is very Batmobile. This is Batman, the animated series, and a little bit of the original from like the original show. Like a little bit. Mixed in, of course, again, with these like this crazy fucking aero. This crazy aerodynamics. Now, there's also elements from like old, like old 1900s, like early 1900s coach-built luxury cars, such as the Cadillac V16s come to mind a little bit. With some of these lines on the like these little fenders here, like I don't know. There's something about it that gives me some like Cruella de Vil, almost kind of thoughts. And next up is, as you may or may not be able to notice if you are paying attention, this also reminds me a lot of the SR-71 Blackbird, pretty well-known military jet that was in service. One of the earlier stealth fighters, well, not stealth fighters, stealth bombers. or stealth, just stealth craft in general. To be honest with you, it's like because I don't think it was a bomber. Yeah, no, it wasn't. This you can tell this is unscripted because my brain is like remembering information as I speak it. Yeah, there's a reason why I didn't script all of this out, because one, I realize new things on the spot, and two, it might be more entertaining when you see me just go through my process of remembering information, because it's fun. Anyways, this red line right here, you see it on the rear end of the SS-71 Blackbird. It is denoting things. It is there. There's also the fact that, as you may or may not be able to tell, this car was originally or is of Jupiter Stormer make, and they're all about aerospace. So of course this thing has some jet influence. And lastly, and you see it here, it's partly to do with its namesake. Now the Black Havu is a venomous snake. Is it? One second. There we go. It is a nocturnal venomous snake from Japan, as you can tell. And if you look at this front end, if you look at the vent into this intercooler here, you look at the lights, you just look at this thing, as well as just the hood, just the length of it. It's serpentine. It's like a snake. It's like these narrowed eyes and this like these bared fangs. It is an evil looking machine. And I don't quite know or believe that it originally looked completely like this. Like, I don't believe it was completely blacked out, because, as I said, this is a Jupiter Stormer car, right? This is a JSI car. JSI seems to really like its like white and blue and orange. This is all black and all red. Like, I'm surprised that when this car was broken out, that people didn't, like, some of the people that actually knew a certain someone from JSI, which I'll reveal his name. If you haven't played the game, you shouldn't be here, but I like at least a little bit of showmanship, right? If you haven't played the game, you shouldn't be here. Should have been gone. But either way, the person who if they knew the person who knew this car, and they knew how GSI makes their cars, they'd realize that, oh yeah, I think I know who the fuck Mr. Apollo is now. And it's partly in the name. You see, I predicted that Mr. A was James fucking Edgeworth from the beginning. As soon as I heard Mr. A call himself Apollo, I was like, this motherfucker's James. I don't know how or in what way, but this motherfucker is James. You see, the Apollo 1 space mission was a training sort of test mission, funded and done by NASA, of course, that ended in death. It was a disaster. A big old cabin fire happened. Everyone died. Now, it didn't happen in space, but it was related to space. It is a tragedy related to space. And Mr. A is named Mr. Apollo. Right? Now, who the fuck else in this game was known to die in space? Like, who, like someone was talked about dying in space. And it's what at least 2 of the team leads are here for, and what they are related to. Like, why they're here. In part, specifically Aisha and Ritsuko. That person was fucking James Edgeworth. James Edgeworth is Mr. Apollo. But then again, if you paid attention, you would have known that. And if you played the game, and also watched the ending cutscene, by the way, at the tournament, the tournament menu that opens up, that brings the last cutscene, the last little story bit, little epilogue or prologue, actually, I should say. Then you know that without a shadow of a doubt, this was James's car. That was his car. I mean, look at this fucking thing. It's got JSI written all over it. Now, did James build it or did JSI build it? I don't know. But the truth of the matter is that it's Apollo's now, and whether he changed it up or not, oh man, is it evil looking. Evil car. Anyways, scripted Akai, bring it home. And thus, on a starlit stage, we end our tour. I sincerely hope you enjoyed this scuffed little venture of mine, and stay for more as I work to become better at editing and this whole YouTube thing. I hope to put something else out relatively soon, but before then, I have more Screamer to play. Take care of yourselves, and see you soon on another entry of A Tap Above.